Karimov Abdus Satur was brutally murdered. Former politician, former member of the Islamic Renaissance Party of Tajikistan, Said Kemdin Gozin, was beheaded in prison. A man can be undressed in winter and left in the snow from morning till night, or placed in a solitary confinement cell. In Tajikistan, I would expect the same treatment as my party colleagues. I would also be imprisoned for my statements in the European countries. I visited the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe several times. I delivered a speech in France, and they would not absolve that.
Я Mirzorakhim Kuzov. Родился 8 мая 1960 года.
My name is Mirzorakhim Kuzov. I was born on the 8th of May in 1960 in Tajikistan. I grew up there. In 1978, I graduated from high school. Then, for 3 years, I worked in a carpentry workshop, which was called Tajik Tara. In 1981, I entered the university, and in 1987, I graduated as a linguist, a teacher of the Russian language and literature. After graduating, I worked as a teacher for 3 years. Later, I worked in the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Tajikistan. In 1992, in the capital city Dushanbe, protests began. People rioted, demanding their rights. They wanted to live in freedom, to build a democratic society. Honestly, my father has always been a hero to me. This wonderful man was always with me, with the whole family, in every life situation. Despite all the difficulties, despite all the political problems we experienced, my father was ever there to understand, to care, to love. He is a role model for me. I want to be like my father.
В 92 году
1992 saw the beginning of riots, during which people demanded freedom, democracy, the right to elect their leaders. All stakeholders united in one movement. There were Democrats, Social Democrats, and Islamists. We demanded the interim government to let people live in peace, to build their lives on their own terms. But they did not want that. They organized a war. The bloody civil war began. When we saw that everything was going well, life became calm. We said that we would run for the parliamentary elections. We would take part in the presidential elections. We laid down our arms and said that we would not fight anymore. Instead, we would build the state in a peaceful way. That was our goal, our task. In 2010, when we won the parliamentary elections, they started thinking about the ways to eliminate us, not only our party, but also others. In 2012, they committed a bloody massacre in Gorno-Badakhshan, where 2 of our party chairmen, Nazarov and Ruzayev, were murdered. At the end of August 2015, our main office in Dushanbe was closed. The printing houses, which were used by our party, were blocked. We were notified that we could no longer continue our activities. We received a letter from the Ministry of Justice ordering us to dissolve the party. We responded that on the 5th of September, we would hold an extraordinary meeting, during which important decisions would have been made. On the 4th of September, just before our Congress, a coup d'etat happened. We were accused of participating in this coup d'etat and of trying to overthrow the government. I left Tajikistan smoothly, without any interruptions. According to my friends, my pseudonym Shokhain Karim helped me. In the database, at the airport, only my name, Shokhain Karim, was included and they were waiting for me. However, I checked in with the passport issued for my real name, Kuzov Mirzorakhim Karimovich, and successfully departed to Moscow.
Смотрите, вот когда я вышел,
When members of the council of our party were being arrested, law enforcement also came to my house. They took my money. I had my own butcher shop in Dushanbe, Tajikistan. I owned a small 32 square meters shop in the city center. They confiscated both the shop and my house. They took my apartment. Now it belongs to the state. They took everything. They confiscated it. When my wife told them to leave the money for the children, well, there was not too much of it, $10,350, they replied that these were foreign banknotes, which should be seized for investigation purposes. My wife always repeated that she could not sleep peacefully because every night they would come back to our house and ask, "Where's your husband? When will he return?" That was the exerted pressure. My children wanted to leave Tajikistan, but they had not been provided the opportunity. So, what did they do? They changed their last name. They bore my last name and changed it to their mother's last name. They bribed the officials at the airport and left Tajikistan. That is the life in Tajikistan. If you looked at it from a different perspective, if today you went to Dushanbe as a tourist, you would admire the beautiful city that you would not want to take your eyes off, but it is grounded on a dictatorial regime. After everyone had been arrested, my colleagues called me and said that I had to leave Moscow immediately, because I could be detained there too. So, being a member of the Supreme Council, I went to Azerbaijan. After some days there, I went further to Iran. In 2017, an OSCE conference was held in Warsaw. I was invited to it as a guest. After delivering my speech, I returned to Iran and decided to travel to Greece. In Greece, at the airport, I was stopped by Interpol and spent 2 months in custody. Thanks to the assistance of my people who hired lawyers, I was acquitted and released at the courtroom. After being released in Greece, Lithuania offered me a visa through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I am very grateful to Lithuania for giving me a chance for a new life. After being forced to leave Tajikistan, in Lithuania I can start my life in political activity again. Here I can live and work freely. I do not feel any discrimination because of my origin or activity. I am the vice chairman of the party. My son is involved in construction business here and I help him. He constructs single-family homes and runs his own business. From my father, I learned to be an honest and honorable man, not only in the family, but also a decent son of my nation. We are people residing in the mountain areas, and according to our traditions, responsibility must be taken for every spoken word. Despite all encountered difficulties, my father never isolated from his political activity. Our regime tortures people, persecutes them. I learned from my father to never despond, to never give up, but to move forward. This is the most important thing. The link which has connected us with Lithuania should never be broken. Lithuania, although it is a small country, is a brave and courageous state. It resists its neighbors who are involved in everything they are doing in Ukraine today. We are inspired by their motivation to fight for solidarity, justice, honesty, freedom. In the future, we want to build a democratic society in Tajikistan too.
Оппозиционеры, есть группа 24.
There are oppositionists here, a group of 24 people. We have established the National Alliance of Tajikistan. We believe that in the future, which is neither too distant, you could say, nor too far, there will be change. Rahmon, the president of Tajikistan, now rules everything in the country. He kills whoever he wants. Today, he has the support of Russia. He is worse than Putin and his friend Lukashenko. Rahmon is bloodthirsty. He has no mercy. He wants to be like the emperor, to have everything controlled. But everything comes to its end.